Take a look at this story from timcast.com. More than 1 in 4 Americans say it may soon be necessary to take up arms against the U.S. government. And actually, a plurality of strong Republicans said it. Yeah, it's kind of freaky. The poll was released on June 30th by the University of Chicago's Institute of Politics. According to their findings, 28% of voters, including 37% who have guns in their homes, agree it may be necessary at some point soon for citizens to take up arms against the government. The funny thing is, I bet that stat stays true for like strong Republicans forever, like no matter what, because they say it all the time. So I don't know if there's actually like an increase in the number. For all I know, it's gone down, right?
It felt that way watching the riots, that everyone was trying to take down the government. I mean, like the mayor was getting baptized in fire out there out west. I forget where that was. Like they were
Which
all
one?
In Portland or something when he was standing outside the fire, like doing.
Oh
prayers.
yeah,
that was
like,
Portland. Yeah,
right. Like
yeah,
it seemed
and
like
then
everybody
he
wanted it done.
desperately tried to get back in the building, like let me in.
Right.
They were throwing.
Yeah, they
stuff
got
at
him. They got him a week after.
I just thought it was funny to pull this story up as like it's MAGA month. You see, ladies and gentlemen, this is what MAGA month is all about. All right, we got people who are losing confidence in the government. They are scared. We need to make America great again, and we need a month to do it. So this is that month, every month from now on.
does the story, and I know I sent this to you guys when I was on my way in, but does it break down in the poll, right, left, right, party distinction, any of that kind of stuff?
Strong GOP, independent, Democrat, and strong Democrat.
Okay, now where are the fault lines? Do you see
Independents.
Do you see both sides, right,
No.
on the extremes? What would you say?
No, but like strong Democrats, 71% I think say you don't need to.
Okay.
But they control the institution. So
Right.
they're like, don't
It's
do
their
it.
government.
Independent voters, 1/3 of independent
Very
voters say
interesting.
yes.
Serious, 1/3?
1/3 of independent voters. And that's more than
Which is more
Republicans.
than the total.
It's more than Republicans.
Huh.
Republicans are like 28 or 30 or something. And then strong GOP is the plurality, 45%. So among strong GOP, 45%, I believe it's 45, say you may have to. And like 42 say you don't have to. And that's the only bracket where the you may have to is larger. But conservatives believe it less than independent voters.
Well, Thomas
That's
Jefferson
crazy.
was pretty clear. You may have to take up arms against the corrupt government. Like he said that blatantly, just so you know, everyone, as part of being American, you may have to take up arms at some point if the government becomes tyrannical. He was very clear about that.
Well, and this is Jefferson, by the way, and this is the same Jefferson, by the way, who goes over and sees the beginnings of the French Revolution and is like, yeah, this is great. Let's continue to do this. Without, kind of realizing which forces exactly were being unleashed. And this is why you have these huge differences between, sure, both were armed uprisings against a central government, right, a monarchy, but the American Revolution's character was far different from the French Revolution character.
Yeah, they was a lot of them to begin with. It wasn't just like Robespierre and Danton. It was
They were starving too.
The Americans?
No, the French.
The French were starving. The monarch was there on their soil with them, so that was another problem they had to face. But the Americans were very organized. They also had a lot of outside help, being the French, which then caused the French Revolution, that caused the French to go bankrupt, which was a big part of why they were starving.
It was when the women came out and they were, hungry.
I think that the French Revolution was too culty. It was too much about Robespierre. It became about his personality and how great he was and how he was going to lead them
Well, it was like
salvation.
It was like a twofold revolution, right? You actually had the period where you had the left and the right in the the Parliament chamber or whatever.
And this is where we get the terms. Right. Yeah.
You actually had the radical. So there's a revolution, and the radicals and then the moderates are like yelling at each other, and then the moderates get crushed, and then Robespierre's like off with their heads, and then they offed with his head. And, the whole thing was just kind of crazy.
First, they blew his jaw off. That's the story. He was an orator, and he was known for just talk, and then eventually they were like, "I've had it." They blew his jaw off. They laid him on a table for like 3 days to die. I'm pretty sure that's how the story goes.
Didn't they cut his head off?
After that, they might have guillotined him, yeah, or they might have just let him bleed out. Let me find out.
Yeah,
Robespierre turned on his buddy, the number 2 guy, Danton, who then said it would have been better to have been a poor farmer than to meddle in the politics of man.
And that's what people, it's funny because we talk about how people don't want to stand up, and it's like maybe they learned a lesson from the French Revolution. Duck and hide. The fires will rage and burn down your home and your life, but you may yet survive.